All right, everyone. Thank you for joining. Today is basically the 13th day in the procedure of data analysis using NVIVO. And as per our content list, we have covered a lot of content here. More than 50% we have covered here. And today, I am letting you know what qualitative research method or techniques are available to analyze the qualitative data and how we are going to use these techniques while we are going to use NVivo in some couple of days. Today I will let you know the first technique, thematic analysis and content analysis. Grounding theory I have already discussed, while the discourse analysis I will let you know tomorrow. So our focus today would be on thematic analysis and content analysis, which are the most widely used technique using NVivo software for qualitative research. So you need to understand the basics of these two techniques here. So as I have told you that there are four methods or four techniques or four types of analysis which are required using qualitative research setting using NVivo. So this one is thematic analysis, content analysis, grounding theory based qualitative analysis that I have elaborated in much detail in my previous 2 or 3 sessions. And then there is a discourse analysis that I have included in this training session as a part of the new analysis procedure. So myself, Zahid Bashir, I am a faculty member at Department of Commerce, University of Gujarat, and a PhD scholar at Delhi College of Commerce, University of Punjab, Lahore. So first, you need to understand what is thematic analysis. It is a six-step procedure that requires you to familiar yourself with the data. Then you need to generate your initial codes. Then you search for the themes. Then you involve reviewing the themes. Then you define and naming the themes, and then you produce the report. It is a method which is basically introduced by Braun and Clark in 2006. And whenever you need to use thematic analysis as a part of your analysis procedure for qualitative research, you need to apply, if you are going to apply this six-step procedure, you need to cite Braun and Clark 2006 as a part of this procedure. So we need to understand one by one what are these procedure. So when you collect the data, whether you are going to use the interview procedure, whether you are going to use the focus group discussion, through observation, through document analysis, and so on. There are a lot of data collection procedure I have discussed in detail. First thing that you need to do with thematic analysis is that you need to familiarize yourself with the data. As a first part, you need to transcribe your data. You need to read and reread your data again and again. And you need to find out the initial codes. So I will let you show my own data analysis procedure. There is a file named My Project here. I have conducted an interview regarding robo advisory service in Pakistan. Basically, robo advisory service is not uh, implemented in Pakistan Stock Exchange. So I was curious to understand why this service is not available in Pakistan or why this is not implemented in Pakistan. So I conducted some interview with the brokers, with the financial advisors, with the investors of Pakistan Stock Exchange from uh, I have contacted them and I tried to ask a number of unstructured questions from them. So like you can see here, how many years do you experience as an investor in Pakistan Stock Exchange? How would you describe your level of familiarity with robo-advisory service and the terminology associated with them? Because I was curious whether the investor here in Pakistan, whether they are basically familiar with the concept of robo-advisory, because this concept is not implemented here till date. So whether the people are familiar with this concept or not, or have you ever used for considering advisory for your investment? If yes, please share your experience. Maybe some of the investor might have used this service in some other countries, because sometimes the people from Pakistan, they might have some experience in other financial market also, like London Stock Exchange, New York Stock Exchange, and so on. So they might have used the robo advisory there, and then they have came in Pakistan and found that there is no robo advisory here. So I need to find out their experiences. So what source of information have you used to learn about robo advisory, and how confident do you feel your understanding of their work? And are there specific terms or concepts related to robo advisory and so on? So there are approximately 12 questions that I asked relating to the different scenarios of robo advisory. And then I record those interview. Then I also created axial codes, initial codes from my transcribed data. I basically what I do. I basically created the audio and videos of those interviews. And after recording those audio and videos, I have I have transcribed that data. So I need to show you some of the things here, like how I have created initial codes for respondent 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, 6. But first I need to show you the original transcribed data. In this analysis, I have a total number of 33 participants, uh, from where I have interviewed them personally. Some of these participants give me a personal interview, face-to-face interview, where I have asked those 12 questions that I had designed for my interview. Uh, some of the participants that were outstation, they have agreed with me that they would be available on Zoom meeting. So they give me the interview on Zoom meeting. Some of the participants were agree on a recorded phone call procedure for the interview. So let me show you that after recording the phone calls, after recording the interview, after having the recorded session with some of the participants, uh, this is the transcription. The first interview I conducted with Mr. Asif. He was a retail investor in Pakistan Stock Exchange. I have conducted this interview on 31st October. So he has 10 years uh, experience as a PXX. I was interviewing this, and the interviewee name was Mr. Asif. So this is me. I was asking question. How would you describe your level of familiarity with robo advisory service and terminology? And then Mr. Asif replied, yes, I have heard about it. It is something like AI-based advisory service for guiding the investor regarding their investment choice. It provides where to invest, which stocks to buy, which to sell. Now, this is the transcribed responses. The interview was actually conducted uh, uh, in the audio format. I have recorded this interview in audio, and then I transcribed this audio into this text format. So there are a lot of options available for transcribing your data. You can transcribe your data from a number of softwares available, but I would not personally recommend them because there are some chances of discrepancies because the people here in Pakistan, they have a different pronunciation due to issue of their pronunciation. Sometimes uh, the words may be misunderstood by the software. So I basically personally transcribe the data through the manual procedure by listening the recorded audio again and again from each interview. And I write these transcription by myself. So one by one, I ask different questions and I record their responses. Now, this is the procedure which is known as transcription. If you see here, the first step in thematic analysis is to familiarize yourself with the data. You need to transcribe the data first, whether you have conducted a manual interview or you have conducted the recorded interview. It may be audio, it may be in audio format or video format. So you need to transcribe the data first. After transcribing, you need to read again uh, your transcription in order to create the initial quotes. So this is the first step where you need to note down the initial quotes. So if you see my transcribed data, just close me the other file. So let me show you. It was a first question. I asked the question about the level of familiarity with robot advisory. This was my first question, whether the respondent is familiar with the robot advisory, and he said yes. He has given me answer in yes, and how he is familiar. He is considered robot advisory as a AI-based advisory service. No, this is his perception or something like that. He said that it is an AI-based advisory service for guiding the investor regarding their investment choice. It provides where to invest, which stocks to buy, and which to sell. So we can consider that the he want to say that it guides for investment. This is the another thing that we can conclude from his answer. So these are called the initial, you can say, quotes that you can generate from the discussion. So I ask the next question. Have you ever used or considered using robo advisory for your investment? If yes, please share your experience. So he was saying that he didn't consider using robo advisory service. I have not used it for my investment in PSX, but I have a plan to use robo advisory. So he's planning to use robo advisory in the future. So what I conclude from this discussion, I was asking, do you have considered robo advisory? He said no. The first thing is the response in yes or no. And he said no regarding this question. And he has planned or he may be prospective user of this service. The other thing, prospective user of robot advisors. So he has not used this service, but he will use this service in the future. So two codes are generated from here. The first code is regarding the yes or no. The second code is regarding the future user of robot advisory. So he will use it in the future. In the same way, if you see, I was asking the third question. What sources of information have you used to learn about robo-advisor? And how confident do you feel in your understanding how they work? So as he was not a user of robo advisory, but he know that there is a robo advisory service that other countries are using. So how he got to know about this? He heard about robo advisory through peers, social networks, and research articles. This is another code that is generated. So I was discussing about the source of information that he used for learning the robo advisory. This is my question, and he asked that he has learned about robo advisory through his peers, social networks, and research articles. While the second question that I asked in the same one, that whether he is confident in understanding how the robo advisory works. So he said that I feel that I am quite confident. So this is the answer. He is quite confident to use robo advisory service as it is easy to understand. He thinks that it is easy to understand. That is another goal. So the first step in thematic analysis that you read your transcribed data again and again, and you note down initial course as a procedure, as a part of the procedure of your thematic analysis. In the second step, you generate initial codes, because in the coding procedure, if you remember, there are three types of code that we need to generate. If we are going to apply the thematic analysis, we need to generate three types of codes. And these codes are initial codes, axial codes, and you can say theoretical codes or selective codes. So, what kind of initial codes I was generated? I have given the description here, like in case of familiarity with robo advisory, AI-based or automated advice. These are the codes. These are the line by line code that I have generated from the first response or the first questions response. It is AI based and it guides for investment automatically because it has given the option of automated advice. So I have generated two codes here from the respondent one for my first question, familiarity with robo advisory, AI based and automated advice, or you can also say here uh, investment recommendation. Now, this is the part where you need to create your initial coach. So in this step, I have created the initial code. So what does it says? Coding interesting features of the data in a systematic fashion across the data set, collecting data relevant to each code. Now, I came to know that my basic code from my question should be familiarity with the robot advisory. And these are the response that I have collected from my responder. The next question was their intention to use robot advisory. He said that uh, he is not the current user of robot advisory, but he planned to use robot advisory in the future. So you may code it future plan to use robo advisory, or you can call it prospective user of robo advisory. So this would be a code that we have generated from here. What is the third step in thematic analysis? Searching for the themes. Always remember you cannot decide yourself about the codes. You need to search for the themes throughout the text. You can gather potential themes. You can gather your relevant data for the potential themes through the internet or through you can say through reading the articles regarding those codes. So in this step, you need to search for the potential themes from the literature search, from the article search. Sometimes you need to understand the familiarity and discussion about the basic code structure. So you need to find out some relevant articles or relevant research papers in order to finalize that you are creating some appropriate codes here. The fourth step is involved reviewing the themes, checking if themes work in relation to coded extract and the entire dataset, generate a thematic map here. This is the procedure that you can apply in case of NVIVO. There is an option of thematic mapping. I will let you know how this is applied, but using this procedure, you can find out what kind of relationship really exists between different ports. So you can review your themes in this step. So first step is to familiarize yourself with the data. The second step is to generate initial codes. The third step that you need to search for themes from literature. The fourth step is to generate a thematic map in order to find out what kind of relationship may exist between the coded extract or coded data. Then in the fifth step, you need to define and naming the themes. This is a very important step. In this step, you need to define what does it mean by familiarity with robo advisory? What does it mean by intention to use robo advisory? What does it mean by sources of information and confidence of robo advisory? So you need to give a brief meaning or definition of your main codes here that you have created from your transcribed data. You need to define what does it mean by familiarity with the robot value. For example, it refers to the investor, it refers to the extent of investors' familiarity of the terminology of robo advisory. Now it is basically defining your things. In the same way, you can define it with refer to the usage of this. It refers to the intention of investor. Investor to use robo advisory service in future. Now, this is the definition of this term, whether the investor would use the robo advisory service in future or not. So in this step, you need to define and naming your theme. You need to provide the name of a theme like I may consider it familiarity. I may consider it intention to use. So you need to define your codes and you need to give some meaning to those codes. So it would be the fifth step. In the sixth step, you need to produce your report. So this is the step that we will basically execute with NVIVO. We will produce the reports using the coded data, the coded themes that we have considered, and using this procedure, the Braun and Clark thematic analysis would be complete. So this is how you can apply the Braun and Clark thematic analysis. So you need to create a coding procedure. There might be the different categories of codes, like there may be semantic codes or there may be latent code. So you need to consider the difference between latent code and semantic code. Semantic codes are basically the surface meaning of your codes. Like if you are selling the land, it means that it means that you may be considering you may have some urgent need of money. That's why you are selling the land. So that is the surface meaning. The second is sending son for higher education. What does it mean? What is the surface meaning of this? This would be that you want your son to be uh, get higher education from the advanced countries, to have higher learning experience from these countries. You are sending your son to USA. USA basically the first in education system. It ranks first in education system. So you want your son to be updated with the latest knowledge and tools and techniques that are used in USA. You are meeting the marriage expenses of the daughter. Uh, the surface, meaning of selling the land would be that you want to send your son to USA. For that purpose, you need that money, and you also want your daughter to get married. That's why you are selling your land, because you need the money. So this is the surface meaning, which is known as semantic code. So whenever you code your data, you need to understand what are these, what are the surface meaning, and sometimes you also need to consider the latent meaning or latent codes. It means the hidden meanings, because sometimes we don't understand what are the real hidden meanings behind those codes. So identify the hidden meanings. If you consider here in this example, you can see here that the father is selling the land and he's sending the son to USA. It means he's not sending his daughter to USA. So why don't he's sending the son only? Why he's not sending the daughter only? So there might be some hidden meaning here. It would be male dominant society. In case of male dominant society, the male might have the privilege to get higher education. They may have privilege to go abroad. So there are a lot of hidden meanings here. So he may have need more money. He The America basically inspire for higher education. The son has completed his basic education. In Asian culture, the parents take the marriage decision, secure future of son and daughter, and so on. There might be a lot of hidden meanings here. So you can generate your latent codes on the basis of your hidden meanings. So there are two types of codes that you can generate. The first is on the basis of the surface meaning. The second is on the basis of hidden meanings. So you need to understand through the tone of your respondent that what would be the hidden meaning and what would be the surface meaning of the responses he or she is providing. Then there is a coding example. The father has sold his land to send his son Ahmed to USA for the higher education from America and to meet the marriage ceremony expenses of his daughter Amina. So selling of land has become some code, but sending son to USA is another code. So sale of land, father decision. He's sending his son to USA and he's getting his daughter for the marriage. So for son, he has decided that he should go to USA for getting higher education, and for his daughter, he has decided that she should be get married. So it's a father decision. What would be the actual meaning, surface meaning, and what would be the hidden meaning in this condition? So the next procedure is the content analysis, which is basically introduced by Professor Klaus Krippendorff. The first book that was published by him is 1989, while his latest book available in the market is 2018. This is the book with the name Content Analysis. It is basically written by Klaus Krippendorff for content analysis. And this is very useful book for content analysis. So what is basically the content analysis? Like thematic analysis, it also includes 6 steps, but there is a difference between these steps. The first one is unitizing, uh, where you decide about unit of analysis of your data. Then sampling, where you plan the sample scheme of your data, then you record, then you reduce, then you infer, then you narrate. So these are the 6 steps I will discuss you in detail. In case of the first step for unitizing the data, you rely on unitizing scheme, like you decide about unit of analysis. What would be the unit of analysis for my data, whether I am going to consider the data from investor, whether I am going to consider the data from household people, whether I am going to consider the data from job holders, from government employees, from private employees, from any other person. So what would be my unit of analysis? So it is basically the first step in content analysis. The second step is sampling. What kind of sampling plan you are going to use, whether you are going to use some random sampling technique, or whether you are going to use some non-random sampling technique. What would be your sample size, whether it is a planned sample or whether it would be computed based on some formula. So you need to finalize in the second step of content analysis that how much data you are going to gather and what would be the approximate sample size and sample procedure that you are going to follow. The third thing is recoding and coding. It means that you need to decide whether you are going to code manually or you need. All right, there was a short disturbance of internet connectivity here, but I have connected again using my mobile internet. So I was discussing about the content analysis here. In the third step, you are going to decide whether you are considering manual coding or you are going to consider auto coding. So reducing data to manageable representation, relying on establishing specific. All right, again, the issue prevailed regarding connectivity. I was discussing about the step-by-step procedure in applying the content analysis. So you can reduce data to manageable representation, relying on established statistical technique or other method for simplifying or summarizing your data. So in the fourth step, you decide what kind of statistical procedure you are going to use with your data. And number 5 is abductively inferring contextual phenomena. It means the results that you have generated from the statistical analysis, you are going to abductively infer. There are 2 types of inferring technique. One is called induction, and the second one is called abduction. Induction means when there is a theory behind, and you are going to test that theory. While in case of abduction, you are going to infer some theory from this procedure. So in this procedure, after the fourth step, you need to infer your data. And the sixth one is narrate the answer to the research question. You need to link up your finding, what you have found, with your research question, whether your research questions were answered here or not. So this is a six-step procedure if you are going to use the content analysis. My favorite procedure is basically the grounded theory methodology, which I normally use for analyzing data. Or if you see here in my data analysis, I have used basically in this procedure, I have used basically the grounded theory procedure here. So I have a lot of things that I have created from this procedure, like I have created the word cloud here. You can see this is the word cloud that I have generated from NVIVO. I will let you know how I have created these word clouds. Uh, I have created the project map. This was the project map I was discussing, that this is basically created using NVIVO software. So these are the codes that I have referred here in my qualitative study. So you can generate the similar code for your study too. So my recommendation for you to use the rounded theory procedure or thematic analysis. Both are very good procedure. These are basically the hierarchy charts, which I have also generated from NVIVO software. I will let you know how they are generated. This is another hierarchy charts, and you will also notice some other charts, some demographic charts here, like this. These are also generated from the NVIVO software. I will let you know how these things would be generated step-by-step procedure, especially this one. So my recommendation is to use the grounded theory procedure or the thematic analysis, while you can also use the content analysis if you wanted to. So these are the two procedure I was discussing today.